Hey, what's up guys, I'm Joe, and today we're going to show you how we did this privacy fence. Alright, so this is obviously a privacy fence, but the unique part about this is actually a metal post back here behind this picket. This is a nice western red cedar picket. So man, it's got the nice cedar smell. So we got the benefit of the cedar pickets, but also they elected to do the metal post just for strength and longevity. You can check out our past video where we talk through some of those things on the design and options. But today I've got a metal post which is what's set in the ground here, and I was going to kind of walk through how we put this together and how a privacy fence works with these particular metal posts. All right, when I say that it's hidden behind the cedar, you can see parts of it through the side here behind this cedar picket. That's the metal post that we're referring to. That is a concern sometimes when people think privacy fence, metal post, of am I gonna be able to see the post? Is it gonna stick out like a sore thumb? And that's the nice thing about this design, that it's nice and camouflaged and blends in with the wood. So you can see the post there and how it's covered up. This is the back side of the fence, so traditionally where you would see the post. The other side is just picketed. You don't see any of the post portion. These metal posts we really like. They are rated to withstand over like a 70-mile-an-hour wind. But on how this works, because obviously this looks a little bit different than like a traditional 4x4 post. But how this works is we're gonna set these posts as you would with any other post. So we're gonna lay it out, run our string lines, and then dig and set a post in concrete. So all of these are set in a concrete footing, and then we let that concrete set up and cure and harden, and then come back to put the framework on and the pickets. So with that, still the same way. If you remember, we talked through about how we do a wood post. This would be similar. We're gonna run our top line, we're gonna trim this to fit, and then we're gonna, from the top, measure down and lay out our 2x4 framing. So I can show you, like this one's obviously not set in the ground, but if you imagine this was set in the ground, we're gonna find our elevation, we're gonna trim this to where we need to be, and then we're gonna measure and mark down where, so say our top line goes in here, then we're gonna measure from that mark and find our middle and bottom rail on this 6 foot. If it was a different height, that may have a different number of rails, but so on and so forth. Took a picket and covered this backside and put screws in there to attach it to make a nice clean look and cover this all up. The benefit of the steel is it's gonna be stronger, longer lasting. It's also not gonna bow or warp or twist like a wood post can. Although over a very, very long period of time, this galvanized steel could break down and rust with water and contact with the elements. It's gonna be extremely more longer lasting than wood that ultimately over years and decades is gonna rot and decay and break down in those ways. This is gonna be a little bit different, but I'll demonstrate, because I don't have this in the ground, but I'll demonstrate how you would put that up. So there's actually marks and stuff too that you can use as reference if you need to align your 2x4s. We prefer to make our own marks and then measure down from the top, but there are reference marks if that's helpful for you. So I'm just, for illustration's sake, I'm gonna say this mark aligns with where we want the top 2x4. So if you imagine this post is in the ground, then you're gonna cut your 2x4s to fit from the inside of this post to the inside of the next post, and then you're gonna place that 2x4 up against this rail, and then you've got these pre-drilled holes that you will use, and this is an 1.5 inch screw that is enough to go into the full thickness of the 2x4 but not poke out the outside. So that is a key thing to consider, to make sure your screws are the correct length. They're long enough to get into the 2x4 but not too long that they're gonna stick out the front side. And then for this demonstration, 6 foot tall. So on 6 foot, we would have 3. So we would have a certain distance that we measure down here to come here. We're always trying to space these out as equal as possible to give the pickets the most support. And then we also don't want the bottom rail to be too high. That's a common mistake you'll see. This bottom rail is too high and the bottom of that picket doesn't have proper support. So on this cap and trim, we're going 32 from the top for the mid rail, 65. So we're gonna be here for our mid rail and then here for our bottom rail. And then if this is our hypothetical ground level, you can see we're within 3.5 to 4 inches from the bottom of that picket, which gives good support, but then doesn't put this rail right on the ground. So then with that, once we've laid it out, that would be a mock-up of a framing for a 6 foot tall cap and trim, like you see behind us. Most of this would be in the ground, but any little bit of trimming that we need to do, we'd cut off there. This would be our front face of it, which would be the opposite side of the fence from where we are. And then just as you would normally, you're gonna put your cap, run your pickets, put your trim, finish it out all the same like you would there. And then on this back side, like we see here, which would be our back side, then you can see we would put a picket to cover that and give a nice clean look on this inside. And then you've got the functionality and the aesthetic of a privacy fence, but then the benefit of a rock solid steel post in the ground. So that's how you would use a metal post on a privacy fence. I hope that's helpful for your next fence project. And as always, make sure and like this video. It helps us out a ton. And make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this.